Marketing is a means to an end. And the end is the growth of the business in a profitable way.
We have 5 new pieces of creative. And so I said, what if we did this?
No bidding strategy is going to cure a bad business model.
Very true. This is where it's really crazy.
Welcome to the Ad Lab. You're joining us in the Performance Kitchen here, where John has been cooking up chaos. Such chaos that he hasn't even told me what it is yet. Because I think this might be overstating it a bit because I don't actually know as of yet, but neither does the audience. You have figured out blue sky.
I have. We made blue meth.
We made blue meth.
The Heisenberg formula is real.
So for those of you who have not watched Breaking Bad, that is like the big breakthrough that it's Jesse and Walter, right? It was Jesse, right?
Yeah, Jesse and Walter.
Walter White, right? So incredible series. Like every episode, you're on the edge of your seat. It's like insane.
Something big happens like every episode too.
Every episode. Like I stopped watching it at night because I couldn't fall asleep. It was that good. So I'm so jacked up at the end of it. So anyway, so they figure out this formula. It's like this perfect meth.
Yep.
Like, and it's, the whole idea behind it is obviously like he's raising money for his own cancer treatment. Like it's a whole thing behind it. But anyway, go watch Breaking Bad. Today, we are going to be breaking stuff, but I can't wait to hear what this blue sky is really all about.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to jump right into it. Last year, we created feeder strategy for Google.
Right.
And it worked extremely well. It worked so well, actually, funny enough, that the AI inside of Google actually has a feeder strategy definition now. So what's funny is you go to Google, type in feeder strategy. It's like AI overview, feeder strategy in digital marketing, popularized by John Moran, a 2-tier campaign structure, lower cost, and all the other good stuff about it. And everybody that's all made videos about it, and yada, yada, yada. It was like, what's the idea of feeder strategy? And this guy's like, oh, there's this guy out there named like John Moran, who's like developed this feeder strategy. It is like, it was the best thing for Google, still works today. And it's been fantastic. We have now developed feeder strategy for Andromeda. And the reason why I believe this is such a massive breakthrough is because Andromeda by design does not allow for a ton of control for individual products or individual services to be grown outside of where the creative wants to go. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, hey, if you give me 10 ads and I'm going to say this ad is the best and that's the one I'm going to run, you're like, okay, that works, but that's my my toe fungus product, but what about my plantar fasciitis product? And you're like, well, create new ads for that, add that in there and try that. Let's see how that works. Mm-hmm. What we now have is a way to cover all products with all creative everywhere, like a Performance Max main campaign, and then developed individual feeder campaigns like individual standard shopping campaigns in feeder in Google to steer the main campaign where we want it to go.
Okay.
So now we could say the big campaign can sell whatever it wants to whomever wants with whatever ads it wants. But if we want that campaign to shift from those type of products to these type of products, we now have that control. Plus like 50 other benefits that I didn't foresee, which I'm going to showcase now today. So I'm just going to dive right into it. We're going to go through it in its entirety. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So
I would be remiss if I did not tell you about our sponsor of today's show is Tier 11. Well, oddly enough, it's just to be called Tier 11 Live, but now it's the Tier 11 Ad Lab. By the way, I just Googled dog pile strategy. You rank for that too.
No shit.
Yeah. Just for shits and giggles.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So here's the special that we have going on right now. And this is literally like, we are getting rid of this at the end of the month because our gross profitability on this absolutely sucks. But we want people to be able to do this and do all the things that we're talking about here today. Obviously, we're going to talk about creative diversification, I assume, in this strategy. You haven't really told me what it is yet. And blue sky, blue meth. The point is this, is that you can buy the creative diversification package, which is 30 creatives per month. Like, these are content creators. Like, we go out and we have a stable of 70 or 80 content creators. Like, if you've ever seen Tier 11 ads, you probably see our ads all the time. You don't really realize it. Like, these are some of the best content creators for UGC testimonials, all the sorts of things that we do on the video side, as well as all the other 8 or 9 different ad types that we have talked about on this show. You get all of that. You buy that package. That is a ton of stuff.
Yep.
And you get the media buying and you get the Tier 11 data suite for free.
Nice.
So we are barely making any money off this. Like, that's the key, but that's not the key. We can't keep it going any longer in December. So the prices are going to go up. So anyway, so check it out. I'm going to leave a link here on the banner below. I see a lot of people are already here asking questions, which is great. Unlock the creative diversification package to get the media buying and the Tier 11 data suite absolutely for free. tier11.com/CD. So
cool.
You, John.
that was a perfect slip in. I'm like, we're gonna do the best strategy we've ever seen. You're like, but wait, there's more. That was perfect.
That's right. Hey.
You should own a marketing company.
I should own a marketing company. I should. Great idea.
Right. All right. So we came from a campaign structure before where we had 3 different individual campaigns going after 3 individual product categories in our company.
Yep.
And one of the main ones here was our immune system. If you've been following us for some time, we have a company that sells, pet wellness products,
yes.
But 90% of all of our sales were coming into our immune product. Now, we were struggling to get our other products, which we have a digestive, we have a joint, we have an oral care one. We have other products that we're able to sell in tandem with immune because we can upsell them as a bundle, but we really have not been able to grow the other products. And that was also due to the Andromeda framework, which is like, I'm a pixel. 80% of your activity is on immune. You give me something else, it has to be stronger than the 80% of my activity for me to change gears. And it just wasn't. Unfortunately, it was a brand new product to the company.
Right. Unless you opened up a brand new ad account or did something like that, which you don't want to do.
Yeah. And you can, but then if you use the same pixel, now they're overlapping again and it just blows up. So what we found out is like, hey, we have this campaign here and this campaign is selling a whole bunch of new customers, but we're like, okay, we have, 804 purchases, 560 are new, 511 are from immune. We're like, perfect. But this is the part that I think I missed in the unlock. And this is what literally set off feeder strategy was brilliant. Yeah. This is whether you have a click or a view, you show up here. So I saw that 80% of my spend, 90% of my spend, $12,000 a day had a lot of, hundreds of purchases or 50s purchases from our, like I got 30 new joint customers. I have 80 new digestive customers. So they were taking all of our users we were bringing to the site with these other products. And this was doing the targeting, even though they've been excluded, they were still doing it. And that's what we found out. We're like, well, crap, it's just the nature of the beast.
And you're optimizing for a purchase immune new customer. So you're trying to get immune customers, but you're getting all these tangential customers as well, which is nice. I mean, but
80% of my spend's on immune. So I get 80% of my results on immune. That's it. Unless you can spend somewhere else to get that product having much more activity, Meta doesn't care. Yeah. So it's like Meta won't sell it if it's not selling, and Meta will only sell what is selling. Well, how do you take what's not selling and make it sell so that Meta will sell it?
Right. I know they're going to take that. Yeah. Well, no, it all makes sense. Yeah. I mean, they're going to do whatever's easiest to get the conversion, really.
Exactly. So what I found out, though, is that no matter what we did, what we were showing all of these hundreds of people were being targeted with what? Immune. Yeah. So my digestive audience gets sucked up by this one and says, hey, interested in digestive? Here's immune. Oh, you're interested in oral? Here's immune. Oh, are you interested in joint? Here's immune. Okay, that didn't work. That's what was stopping this. So we said, well, what if we make an all products? Everything. We have immune, digestive, oral, joint, all that stuff is in the top campaign now. All of our ads are in that main campaign. So every single ad that we've ever ran that was good is now in that top campaign. And that top campaign is now purchase NC. New customers from anywhere. I'm happy. Sounds good. And then we did 2 unique things. One, we made 3 more campaigns also purchase NC. Why? Because I want these to overlap. I want feeder to overlap. And then I purposely leveraged the incorrect targeting attributions of whatever has highest amount of ad spend, whatever has highest amount of reach and impressions win. And I said, fine, you're going to take credit for everything. I will allow it. You know what? I want you to. You can have 7-day click, 1-day view, 1-day engage view. Everything else has to be stuck on a 7-day click. Why? I don't actually really want the attribution to come in here. I want the attribution to come up here because this has the highest amount of ad spend and has the highest propensity to scale because it's the biggest campaign.
Got it.
But now I can adjust the activity in that campaign by feeding it less or more of my other content. So my one campaign here of all products has all of my product ads, digestive, immune, joint. And then my individual campaigns, digestive just has digestive.
Just digestive.
Joint just has joint. You get it. So I said, you know what? Let me run my first test. Well, actually, before I do that, let me see how this actually has worked so far. Interestingly enough, our click-through rate has gone from 6.2 to 11.95. It went up 92%.
Jeez.
Why? Well, when the majority of our users used to be remarketed the $200,000 of only immune, about 5% of those people liked it. Why? Because those were 5% of the immune. The digestive, the joint, and the oral didn't give a crap.
Right.
It's not going to click on any of these ads. But when
Still
I
a good click-through rate.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But when I take that 200 grand and shift it up here and even scale it a bit to 248, look at my click-through rate.
Wow.
It went from 5 to 11. Why? Because now my
parallelogram
digestive,
right there, by the way.
right? I know, right? Yeah. Thank you. I paid attention up to about second grade.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now my digestive, my joint, my oral, and my immune all can now be remarketed by my main campaign, which has digestive and oral and joint and immune. Okay, so that's cool. Now let's do this. Now let's run the second test. So we know we're hitting a way better audience. My CPC has now been cut down by 48% in my account, and we're spending $250,000 every 3 weeks, so it's a big deal. Yeah. But my CPMs did not change. They're 0.4. So same audience. We just now have 48% less cost per click and 92% better click-through rates. And so we're driving a massive amount of a ton more traffic. When that looks like here, just as a quick example, when we started this on the 16th here, so we have the 16th through yesterday compared to previous period, I do have an ad spend increase total in the account of 16%. But now my traffic inside of Facebook is up 171%. Holy crap.
Wow.
That's a massive unlock because now Meta says, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm like, well, then I'm going to give you the ammunition to go convert whoever you want. Okay, that worked. So then we said, let's do this now. What if we took in this week, so week 2 of after the launch, I say, you know what? I want to run a test. Everything's been running for about a week and everything seems hunky-dory. But I want to say, hey, all product campaign, I want you to start selling more joint products. So I'm going to give my joint campaign 57% more ad spend. 57% more ad spend. Now, the typical model of how did that 57% increase looks like crap. Went from 676 up to 2,600. Right. Oh, no, it didn't work. Well, that's right. I don't care that the attribution doesn't come here. I don't want it to come here. So I made a custom
number above.
Right? Yeah, exactly. This is here.
Sorry.
No, that's good. And you caught on too, because what's interesting is if you look all the way over at this custom column over here called Purchase Joint NC, remember the 56% or remember the money that we put inside of joint? We put 57% more spend into joint. Yep. My main campaign sold joint new customers 61% more. And my report inside of here during this time period of the 23rd to the 29th compared to the previous period of the 16th to the 22, which is exactly matching this one here. My report shows that my new customers of my joint went from 23 to 35, a 60% increase in new customers at the top line. Wow.
Wow.
So now I have a big campaign that can sell anybody anything, but I can then steer it by saying, I need you to sell more new customers on joint. And I crank this lever over here and then boom, that goes up there because it's first click CAPI import. The actual attribution inside of Meta is real. And now this will actually start to sell more joint new customers and coming in at a very decent price. Now, real quick, we always measure top line. So when we're looking at our media tracker, we have an average NCAC of globally when we're spending $114,000 a week of $287. So let's do some back of the napkin math. If I go into Google or Meta here and I say, how much money did we spend on Meta? $1,956. So $1,956. How many? I'm going to put that over to the side. Go into the back end report and we look at here. How many new customers on joint? The only thing that we have marketing is joint inside of Meta. So it's the only thing that has attributable spend. So 35 minus 23 is 12. Okay, so 1956 divided by 12 new customers, $163 NCAC, $120 cheaper than our global average NCAC.
Jeez. That is fantastic.
Beautiful. So are you a doctor's office that is selling all on 4 versus x-rays? Well, you have ads for both. What do you want more of? I want more x-rays. Develop a new campaign with just x-rays, crank it with a spend. The main campaign has to target the users you're bringing into the pixel with the other campaign on the ads that they were brought in from. They share the same ads.
Okay. I have questions.
Yes.
First off, I've never noticed this with this business, and obviously we know this business extraordinarily well. Dogs versus cats, does it matter? Has it ever? Different
dogs.
creative, like, because I never realized there was. I always sort of figured this was just more on the dog side, but like, how do you break that down?
Yeah, cats is actually a lot of UGC. So the way that we market ourselves is slightly different than every other company because we actually focus on the CTRs of all rather than the CTRs of link clicks. CTRs of all rather than the CTRs of link clicks because we want to identify what is the users being educated on. We have to go through a two-step process to actually sell our products well, which is
explain to people what that means. I know what it means, but all clicks versus link clicks.
Yep. And so I'm just going to do a sort descending by spend. Let me turn off the comparison. Let me just get a little bit organized here since the 16th to the 4th of work. I was missing it last day. So then we got amount spent sorting descending. All right. So let's do this. Let me actually take my column of amount spent and I'm going to move that upwards a bit so that we can see how this actually works. Mm-hmm. So in our campaigns, I have to tell you about a story about how a dog came back to life and how they are happy and healthy and youthful and vibrant. And then I'll tell you why. That seems to work better. It's a kind of my mini funnel where it's almost like a Wally Fat People of an advertorial. That's exactly all I'm doing is a Wally Fat People advertorial. Instead of you going to a blog and reading it, I'm basically just showcasing it in front of your face.
Putting it in front of me in my newsfeed. Yeah,
exactly.
So that is a click.
That right there. Exactly right. And that's what I was going to say is this right here is when I look at this here, I see the dog. That's not an ad. That's a story. You click see more and you read how it's a 21-year-old dog and how it's helped so much. These are real stories from real customers. And that's the actual dog's name. So that actually is Gina. So what's nice about this is what we've noticed is look at this. When we have non-product, I'll just do this. UGC, good click-through rate. Product ad, not that great. We have a story about Gina, good click-through rate. You want to see the product here? Not so great. You want to see just the product? Not so great. What about Suzanne? Oh, I want to know about Suzanne. What about Brenda? Let's hear about Brenda. What about Cindy? Cindy actually has a great click-through rate. Why? Well, because in her story, Cindy actually has a before and after that the client took for us, and we're really happy about that. Wow. So now we know Cindy, the before and after. Look at those click-through rates now. So when we look at this thing, we have to do this. Let me tell you the story about Paul. Paul is a dog sleeping on the couch. That sucks at 2% link click, but really good with 11. And then we follow up with this is the product that did it. This is the product that did this. And then later on, like when you go down lower and lower and lower, you see a lot more product ads, and then you get a lot better, kind of CPAs and results on those. But you can see that each time we showcase a story about a nice dog, they want to learn, but they're not really ready to buy just yet.
Yep. Step 1, step 2.
Exactly right. So very simplistic. So that's when we saw that when we changed this over to this model here, that's when now we have an average click-through rate on a story of 11.1, which is very, very good. And then this actually also increased our click-through rate from about 1.8 to 2.8. So our link click-through rate's not that great, but I measure activity off of how much are we educating a user based on creative, how much are we spending on that, and is that model working well? So it's a little bit different than kind of your standard media buyer, but we still use click-through rates for engagement.
So on this one, this campaign here is the immune feeder campaign, or
this is actually the all product.
This is the all product. Okay. So my question is are you using the same creative? Like it would stand to reason that you'd only use story. No, I'm past that question.
Oh, got it.
But for your feeder campaigns, it would stand to reason that you would want to use the story ads because you want the click, not necessarily the click through. You want the click on the ad to say, hey, I'm engaged. And then obviously you'll get them on the more salesy ad that is basically, here's the thing that you just clicked on, go buy it. But I have a feeling it's not the case.
No, damn you. That was my test for next week because we're doing that now.
Shit. Okay.
I literally, and this is so funny. It seems like I'm pulling this out of my butt right now. But honestly, in my calendar, me and Chris with Pet Wellness Direct with feeder follow-up 2 hours ago said, hey, you know what? What if we took all of our best performing stories and put them only in the feeder?
Yes.
We have to have another follow-up question because of our 5 top stories is 80% of our global spend. If I pull that out of our main campaign and stick it into a feeder and it only has 1K a day instead of 17K a day, we're going to kill our company. Right. So what we're going to try to do is say, can we wean ourselves over there? And that's the next exactly right. That's exactly what we want to do is feeder the stories. And then the all products are going to have, yes, the stories because they need to sometimes see it more than once, but all the products. Exactly right.
Right. No person. Oh, I mean,
Yeah, we're not going to put
Nobody
products
just
in feeder.
Yeah, nobody really does like one click and buy. We've talked about this many times on the show.
You're too
like
good of a
one click
marketer, so you guess the next step already.
Well, whatever. The point is this: is that I understand the rationale for it.
Yeah.
You want to show like, all right, you are engaged. So from a humanistic standpoint, psychologically, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. But I hadn't really thought about buying it yet. But then all of a sudden I see it again. I'm like, remember that story? I think maybe I'll look at it. Maybe I won't buy on that one. Maybe I'll buy on the next one or the one after that. I'm not saying this is like one click here and then you get a sale here. Like,
yeah.
In an ideal world, you want everyone to click on the first ad and just buy, but that's not going to be the case all the time.
No, and you're exactly right. We want to have the stories leading the charge. We've already established that kind of in the metrics that we're seeing. You've already picked up on that, and that's exactly what we saw. Is like we would love to have more stories. We were too offset in our big campaign just to grab those and stick them over here. It would not swing this way that fast, and we would end up killing our company in the short term. But we are exactly right. We're going to take our best performer that we've used for like a year, and that one's going first.
Yeah.
And really, so exactly right.
And it seems like story plus before and after.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Story before and after. Yeah. And you know what's interesting?
And those are secondary metrics. Not a lot of people look at, by the way.
No, they just usually look at the results and be like, why isn't it getting bigger?
Right.
But here's what's actually interesting is the reason why I think the creative, obviously, like what you said, I know we're doing a sales pitch out there and it's sponsored by us, so whatever it is. But
of course.
But that is, you know what's interesting is that's
just
actually
one long infomercial, really. Is
well, with proof. But check this out.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, buy today, get one more piece of creative. Check this out. Inside of our main campaign. Our main campaign, yes, unfortunately, is still SID because the critical immune defense SID is what 80% of our sales are on. Right. So I took this campaign and launched it with a $200,000 monthly budget on day one. That was November 16th. And this thing kicked right into gear immediately with the best performing ads, with a crazy amount of ad spend, just kind of like, boop, spending like over $1,000 a day, over $2,000 a day, and then cranked up to $7K a day. Like this thing is just going insane. But
on day one, $12,000 a day. And it took 3 or 4 days to get up to, okay, got it.
Yep. And so that's what's interesting is when we look at the amount spent going descending, $63,000 on this one ad, 23,000. What you'll notice is watch this SID. And then when you go down, then you're getting into like the digestive and the joint, and that's like sub, $500 a day. So obviously we have some room to grow in feeder with the other ones. But here's where we would have killed ourselves if we didn't have someone to produce amazing amount of creative like you could at tier 11. Is I said, this has got amazing click-through rates. Watch this. On SID, 11, 16, 14, 13, 20, 12, 20, 16, 10, 16, 19. Wow. Okay. How's joint feeder doing? 18, 14.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's it. 2.
Yeah.
We have 2 pieces of creative in joint. We have 12 pieces of creative in immune. I can't spend what I can on joint on immune. Why? We don't have that many stories on joint yet. We never made that effort. Right. So joint never grew. Why? That's because it's product, a blog, product. Okay. People don't give a crap about the product. Your dog joints hurting? No. Shit. See you later. We haven't done the same effort in sales process and the creative to get the attention we need. And that's what you also picked up on that click-through rate. Yep.
Yeah. You don't have creative diversification either. I mean, it's all product-based ads. Like if you're just doing it the old way, like we used to do it in 2015, 2016, like it didn't matter. Like that is out the window now. Yes, you need those for sure, but you have to craft the story. You got to get something that hooks people in with some kind of narrative. And for anyone who's listening, like, well, this is great, Ralph and John. I don't have a pet, supplement company. It's the same thing with any business. Doesn't matter. Well, our own money, mostly yours, over $8 million at this point. I would imagine it's probably 9 million testing this whole strategy.
There's a very large human supplement company that has also tested this model. Is doing very, very, very good results. And they're doing about a few 100,000 a day.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's not even we should throw that into the sales pitch. Like I don't even know how much we spend on this now. Anyway, it's tens of millions of dollars in spend on this. And we know that this works. But when you think about it logically, if you've got an algorithm, if you've got AI, if you've got a large language model, whatever you want to call it with Meta, that's really working and firing on all cylinders, all of this makes sense from an advertising standpoint. This is how you persuade. This is how people become brand advocates.
Exactly
Because they
right.
latch on to the story. They latch on to the hook. They latch on to the founder's story. Like
Mhm.
great example that you use is like, I think you pulled, for you and Chris, like a 3-year-old interview. Let's, like, we're not going to
The
use
founder
that.
story, yeah, that
Yeah,
became our
but
best performer for like 2
became
weeks.
your best performer for like a couple of weeks. And it's part of the entire ecosystem of how somebody understands and gets to know your brand. And that's the most important thing here.
And
it starts with the creative.
It's exactly right. And this person right here, I just grabbed a screenshot because I want to protect their identity. He was the one, this is 1 day ago. We're both testing the same exact model of feeder strategy. And so I followed up with the results that I'm seeing. He goes, oh, damn, that's awesome. Anytime tomorrow, blah, blah. Our CAC went from 280-ish to 180-ish with 2 to 3 times the customers and 4 times the subscribers. We're going to be wildly good path for the new year. Excited to bounce ideas off you. Talk tomorrow. And so I talked with him today, and he's running feeder strategies. This exact same setup that we just looked at. He's spending I think 200 grand a day right now on this model. And he's got some slight different variations. He's doing a little bit of bid caps where I'm not. He's doing a couple of exclusions in another account where I'm not, but 90% overlap with exactly what we're seeing. And he's seeing the same exact thing, and he's spending $1 million a week on it. So this has been a lot of ad spend. It is working well. It does move the needle very well. We're doing it with some lead generation companies next. We already sort of had a feeder strategy on lead gen with the Strader company. I want to say the whole name, but the prerequisite company where we're using all of our add to carts that are then being targeted by all of our conversions. And then we just have to push more add to carts and everything gets better. We've seen that we can feed it. So it does work very well so far, but everyone's kind of here, seeing it and experiencing it for the first time. But it is super interesting to see how we can basically say, okay, if I wanted, let's just say this is your dental office. Again, you're doing x-rays and you're doing all on 4, and you have an x-ray feeder and an all on 4 feeder. Great. Do I want more all on 4? Crank up the all on 4 feeder. Why? Well, because the pixel works as one big engine. If we think about it, I'm going to pull out Paint just because I haven't used that in a while. But if you have a level here and you say, okay, this is my product A, and then the sales or spend, and this is my product B, and this is my product C. This is kind of us right now. Right now, we kind of have SID. This is our critical immune defense here. Oop, I'm not going to say that. Critical immune defense. Let's do this here. Just Control Z. So this is SID. This is our spend levels. This is like total oral care. This is tox. This one over here is going to be like critical joint relief. And so we're like, okay, we're kind of screwed up here. This is our company. Oh, wait, I don't know why it's not sharing screen on the right one. Let me just reset this.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
You were on your calculator, I think, before, and it didn't. But anyway.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is where we were. And we had one big campaign that's unfortunately just selling SID. This is the main one here. And then we have our other ones over here. We're like, well, how do we get this bigger? And so that's all this is about right now, is this is how your pixel works. Okay. Pixel says 80% of spend is going here, and it's 80% of results. This is 10 and this is 10. Good luck. Like, that's what you get. And we're like, well, how do I get this one to go bigger without sacrificing that? That's what Andromeda isn't set up to use. It's really not. The creative does the targeting, and if it needs to go in one campaign. So we said, okay, what if we just steer it then? We're not going to try to mess anything up with Andromeda. You can do whatever you want. I can just influence you to what I want. So essentially, as hard as this really gets, is now we're just going to take feeder. We're just going to chop off the bottom there. This Tox campaign and feeder is going to try to grow here into a higher amount of global ad spend next to it here. We can see that we can push ad spend there and grow that. So is it campaign? Is it ad set? Is it inclusion? No, it's pure ad spend. We just have 80% of our ad spend on one product, wondering why isn't anything selling? Well, of course, 80% of your spend. What if this was more like a 60-40? So we don't reduce here. We just grow another area.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Downside risk potential here. Like SID is working out well. It's coming in at the NCAC that you want. Like, are you concerned at all once you start to kind of manipulate the algorithm a bit here, which is fine, but you're trying to train it on another pixel fire, really, or another event fire, which is really another product. Do you worry that you might sacrifice sales on the immune side?
We thought so, and that was the only thing that we haven't identified yet in our media tracker that we look at everything week over week. We know that we increase spend. That was something that we did this last week. Yeah. Our NCAC is 287, and it was 270 at 60 grand, and now we're doing 114 at 287, so it's not any less efficient. We have a 1.59 ROAS, but we've also, whenever we're above 100K, that's about where we see our MER, because we start outpacing the sales of our subscribers kind of thing. When we get close to that, like kind of 130K, you can see it's a normal MER. So we took basically $250,000 worth of spend. I mean, this is how fast this was. When people are like, what should you start off in spending? Well, my normal question is, well, what is your pixel used to targeting? Because if your pixel is used to targeting something, well, you could take that campaign, that spending here at a fairly high level of 12 grand a day. You can immediately shut it off and then launch another campaign with the same ads at 14 grand a day, and nothing happened. It just basically went from 34 to 32. And we're like, okay, well, what is this? What is the NCAC? Well, it went from basically 480 to 42. Nothing happened. Literally a perfect just swapping over. So you could launch a new campaign at 12 grand a day if that pixel is used to seeing that audience with those ads. Right. So as long as we always have a steady stream of SID ads that we're always iterating on and creating new, and that campaign is also continuously growing, it's making more room for the feeders to shove other users in there. So it becomes easy. You want a new joint ad, goes in feeder and goes in main. You want a new oral care ad, goes into oral care feeder and the main campaign. You need a new SID ad, it goes into SID feeder and the SID campaign. So these are growing as these are growing, but I can grow any one of these at a faster rate. So now I can manipulate more or less sales and new customers at a perfect NCAC with a lever pull.
Why wouldn't you, devil's advocate here?
Yeah.
Well, first off, people are going to be watching this and like, well, that's during Black Friday, Cyber Monday week.
Oh, we didn't run Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Ha!
All right.
We didn't do one ad. I can prove that.
Screw all you people who are doubters out there. My question is what would prevent you from having 3 feeders for 3 of the different products and then 3 conversion campaigns? So you can really throttle them up and down. I mean, you're throwing them all into one of the, I'm calling it the conversion campaign, but it's like the all products campaign. Would that be slicing things too thin? What's your sense right now?
I didn't understand that. So we still have this one.
Yeah. So that's your all products. I'm calling that kind of the conversion campaign because you're getting the click and the sale. It's being attributed there. But what if you actually split that out based upon, like, you did a conversion, all right? You split out the all products campaign into conversion campaigns for each one of the individual products,
like these here.
Yeah, so that you can throttle each up, because you're basically targeting the same audience. It's open targeting anyway. Would that screw things up?
Well, isn't that what we did here? I'm not understanding the differences.
Well, you did it here, but I'm saying, like, for the all products campaign, instead of having all products, have each one break all products out into SID, into CDR, into CJR.
Oh, so that's what we actually started from. So that was the before. So if I go back to like kind of the before and turn off, I'll just go back to October and then turn off the comparison, descend by amount spent. Yep. We had the basically SID for dogs, SID for cats, critical line, and digestive and joint.
Okay.
And because whenever we would increase ad spend here, the bad part is this main campaign that had all of the product, or this main campaign only had immune products. So if I push harder on digestive, it's this big campaign says, ha, 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 yeah, thanks for all that traffic. That's mine now. I spend everything here. You go away. Well, what are you going to show my digestive customers? SID.
Okay. Got it.
And that's from the before campaign where we're like, why is SID selling all of my digestive? Why is SID selling all my joint? Why is SID selling all my oral? And why is my click-through rate suck? And also, no one's really buying anything. It's because this main campaign said, anybody that comes to the site is mine, not from other Meta campaigns. Meta, Google, organic, your direct traffic, your email traffic, your influencer traffic. This main campaign sucks up everything. So globally, every user that was coming to our site was only being marketed SID. No wonder why SID was the only thing selling.
Sure.
When we made that all campaign, now it says, everybody that ever comes to my site ever, I will remarket everybody everything. I want that. But now I want you to turn up the heat a little bit on that product, and I can move a lever over here.
Right. And it makes sense. Like, I have to assume that the NCAC for all 3 of these products, all pretty much the same.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty much, yeah. And actually it was even getting the same result. We would get it like 339, 385, 302. And then the joint one was 720, but that one was literally just like, I mean, I think launched like early in the month and we shut it off. So it's not even on during that time period.
Got it.
Feeder.
And this is only 3 SKUs, really. Well, I guess it's more because each one has the dog and the cat.
We have
it's
a
really 6 SKUs.
Yeah, immune dog, immune cat, an oral, a joint, a digestive, and then a 3-pack with like a bundle package. So we technically have 6 SKUs, but the problem is everything was just immune.
Yeah.
I mean, when for us, we've scaled up this company really well. I mean, we have not messed up anything, in my opinion, in the growth of the company besides the SKU list. Yeah. And so if we look at like the last 365 days compared to the previous period, we're up, still 85% with 98% more orders. We grew our subscription services to 2.8 million annually, and that's up 74% this year. Like, we're not hurting. We're doing really, really well. The problem is my sales by product is critical immune defense, critical immune defense, critical immune defense. Oh, there's hip and joint way down there, down 27% this year. Uh-oh. So if you're looking at an EBITDA of a company, are we an idea on a product that worked well? Or do we have a full suite of products that everyone loves with high LTV? Right now, we have an idea that never really turned into a company. If you're looking to buy this company, I'm like, why would I buy the one company that has one product out of 6 that work? I'm just going to knock off your one product.
Well, that's kind of the bigger goal question here. I mean, obviously the bigger goal question, I mean, if I am a multinational pet product company, I look at this and I say, I want that customer base. Exactly. Granted, most of it's immune, but for you and your business partner to be able to get the best, best multiple
Bang
you
for the
possibly can, you want to have a multiplicity of different types of customers to make you more appealing to potential buyers is what I am assuming.
Exactly right.
If I know how your brain works, Mr.
That's right. It's like you have 6 products. How are they doing? We have 1 good one and 5 duds. You want to buy the whole thing? Not really. I'm looking at 1 out of 5. I want an 80% discount on that price.
So the goal of the business dictates the strategy here is really what you're saying.
Look at that.
How about that?
The company goal. Hey.
Had some of those conversations this week with some tier 11 people. Kind of the most important thing. Like, what does the customer actually want? What do you as the business owner here, and Chris, I know very well, want at the end of the day? You guys want to sell. And the time frame is, a couple years, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, this is the key to it all.
Exactly. So it's like I could take a hit on NCAC if I can sell additional products. That's the company goal. Yeah. Okay, what's their ceiling? 300. Where are you at? 250. Well, we just found out that we can sell joint for 168. You want to do harder on that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what we're doing now. So we got feeder for Andromeda, where it will allow it to do whatever it wants. I can just be in its ear saying spend more on there. And it's like, okay. And then it nails it on in platform for the spend on top line at an NCAC that's best. Man, this is smooth.
It's killer. It's killer. And it totally makes sense. Like, you're not just doing this just to like mess around. Like, you're doing it with a business purpose in mind. You want a diversified customer base. So and it can't all be immune. But I mean, I'm sure if you marketed this right now, put it out in the private equity world, I'm sure somebody would give you an offer for it. But the point is,
we have a few offers.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure, you know. But
they're just not as big as we want them to be yet.
Right. You have a number in mind, and that's why you're doing this diversification, creative diversification with product diversification at the same time to ultimately reach the goal. This is good stuff, man.
Yeah. And because we've used the same conversion event for all 4, and we've left the top one having a higher amount of attribution, the higher spend will take over everything else and then claim victory. I don't care. Pat yourself on the back. I'm just going to make you pat yourself on the back harder. Like, it's so beautiful now to be able to control this algorithm.
Yeah. I mean, there is a certain element to like another company coming in and saying, oh, wow, immune is really taking off, but they might not have the actual formula for the product itself, get the results, and they don't have this strategy unless they've been watching every single one of the
right.
Pose.
Right. Hopefully PetSmart's not here.
Yeah. they're lurking. They're in the shadows. I think silently Mitch, who just beardpreneur, I think he's actually
he heard feeder strategy was here today. He's got a camera in his beard. That's why it's so thick you can't see it.
That's it. Well, this is incredible. And we have 20 minutes for questions here.
Look at that.
Unless you had something else that you wanted to add before we went to the question board.
No, I think we're good.
All right. Very good. Good stuff, man.
Right? It's kind of cool.
Next level. And yes, It was worth the wait, and I'm very excited. My God, like we geek out about this sort of stuff like every Friday, except last Friday because we were recovering from a turkey hangover.
Right.
But yeah, this is good. Like this is what you get. Like everyone who comes here and watches this show, like this is cutting edge stuff. You did it. Now we actually show it. And by the way, if you need our help, go over to tier11.com/CD, get the creative diversification package, and get your media buying, which is stuff like this.
I love it.
And the data suite for free. All right. Brian has a question for John.
The YouTube
he was
feeder.
so early.
I know.
He showed up like 10. I got on like 10 minutes early. He had already asked his question. So
I was going to say his question came in before our start time, I think.
Oh, I was like, it was 4 or 5 minutes before we actually started.
Right.
All right. Hi, John. Any results from the YouTube feeder you were testing a few months ago? Good question. Sequence, campaign, CPM, CPV, demand gen, TCPA. Thanks.
So unfortunately, no.
Okay.
The only reason why I think it did is because demand gen, I could not spend enough comfortably in that for it to overtake the immense amount of traffic that comes from social channels. And simply because, in my opinion, unless you've spent a lot of time, effort, and energy, days, weeks, months, maybe even years building out a really solid YouTube campaign performance, there's not enough for YouTube demand gen to do this. As a quick example, I'll use my own company. So if I said, hey, this is what my sessions by social referrer did this year. We're up to now 2.3 million in users for Facebook that have come to the site. Demand gen says, all right, any ad spend you give me, I got to go there first.
Mm-hmm.
And with feeder on Google, and because Google is so extremely warm, we said, hey, we're going to launch and get 100,000 YouTube visitors. Okay. And then demand gen, you're going to go after that 100,000 YouTube visitors and you're going to start to remarket to them. And demand gen, basically what we thought was, okay, we said, okay, a lot of people coming in on the, what you said is the CPM and CPV campaigns. And then demand gen is going to retarget it. What demand gen just did is like this. All right, I'm just going to bypass what YouTube's doing. I'm going to go right up to that 3 million or 2.3 million up there coming from Meta. Meta's feeding me. So it's like, well, crap. What is the largest signal of users coming to the site? Meta typically is the best because Google priced themselves out of the market. You want a $15 click or $15,000 impressions. Well, Google can't feed itself users to the tag as much because YouTube is going to show views. But the problem is the demand gen feeder says, okay, you got a lot of YouTube views, or I got like 78 people that are adding something to cart right now. And demand gen would just hover to Meta. So yes, you could do a demand gen feeder for Google, but your primary indicator of traffic, you have to spend more on YouTube feeder than you are on Facebook for that to be a larger signal. And unfortunately, YouTube is just too poor of a network to beat Facebook, unfortunately.
Yeah. Although it's very top of funnel, like you would think
Very
that
much.
it would work. Like
the problem is you say, hey, pause your $3 million on Meta spend. I'm going to test YouTube for a minute. They're like, no.
Oh, why?
Right. So that was it. It's like, okay, we got 3 million spend. I'm not shutting it off. So either take this or try to figure out how to get YouTube to at least 3 million. It just wasn't never going to work.
Yeah, it's never going to work.
Yep.
Good question, though. All right. Mehmet has a question. Hi, Tier 11. Have a luxury betting company. The product prices are between 1,000 and 2,200 and have 100 USD of budget for now. What should I do? PMAX shopping Meta or Meta.
All right.
And he loves the videos. I think my 6-year museum, and you guys are the best. I appreciate that, Mehmet.
That's awesome.
That's a small budget. I have to say that's probably $100 a day, as I'm guessing.
Here's what I would say. Luxury betting company, AOV's high, time lags probably 2 weeks. 1,000, 2,200. Yeah, you're probably, well, maybe not 2 weeks. Your total time lag, I would say you're probably more like 6 to 10 days on the low and high side of those AOVs. My opinion, and I don't know what your existing customers are, and I don't know what your brand name is in terms of how popular it is, but I would first start off with nothing but 2 campaigns. I would do $50 a day in a feed-only non-brand PMAX, and then I would do $50 a day in a DPA-only Facebook Andromeda. Those 2 are the safest starting points to say
That's a good mix.
You can overlap with each other's users.
Yep.
They're shopping, so it's extremely bottom of the funnel, but we don't have enough money to even enter the middle funnel.
Yep.
So you're basically capturing all of your buyers that you possibly can with remarketing efforts on both channels with minimum ad spend. And that AOV means that your one sale in 2 weeks pays for the whole campaign. That would be my starting point.
Right. So say it again. The campaign setup was, I mean, I got
$50 a day.
$50 a day.
A feed only, non-brand, brand excluded PMAX.
Yep.
And a $50 a day Andromeda model, one campaign, one ad spend, no inclusions or exclusions in targeting, no bid or no cost cap. But in performance, or in Andromeda, in an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, now called Advantage Sales campaign, but that is only going to use DPA, dynamic product ads. Those two can react to all organic traffic, direct email. It will prospect. It will remarket itself. It's like shopping ads on both networks to the best of the ability, going to most, hopefully, new customers only. But again, I don't know your brand. I don't know CAPI imports. With that ad spend, I wouldn't even recommend CAPI imports because you're going to spend all your monthly ad spend on the CAPI import service. But I would say those two are the start off: a feed only PMAX non-brand and a DPA campaign ASC inside of Andromeda. Those two would be a very, very good shopping coverage for both networks.
DPAs are extremely good at picking up site traffic and targeting the exact right product and or products that are, I don't know how many, SKUs he has there between 1,000 to 2,200 as his price point. But the point is like DPAs will scoop all that traffic up and direct it to the right product.
And everyone bored that is thinking about buying betting is going to be reminded every day as they're sitting on the couch watching TV. Hey, remember the betting? Hey, remember the betting? Hey, remember And if they do any sort of searches, Google's going to be over there buying search, shopping, YouTube, GSP, Discover, Display. Want to buy our betting? Want to buy our betting? And they will overlap with each other 80% of the time. You're getting full coverage on both channels for $100.
Totally. And optimize your feed as much as you possibly can.
Oh yeah.
That's the case. One of the things that everyone overlooks.
Please do not name the title of your pillowcase inspiration. No one looks for that shit when looking
Nobody
for
looks for it. Yes. Be like a fourth grader. Literally. Yeah.
Comfy bed, red, 1,000 thread count. Awesome.
Really good. No, don't even put that in there.
Fun time, yeah.
Speaking of good, Weirdpreneur is here. He is here on time. He is our spy.
Thank God we don't do this again today.
He's here. It's about time he showed up on time too. All right. Anyway, love that guy. Inderdeep has a question. Hi, John. My lead gen search campaign is on TROAS at 150%. Positions are good, but CPCs are very volatile. So how do we really scale up the campaign as traffic remains almost the same and CPCs go up?
Yeah. So the only issue that you have right now is because lead gen on search, you are taking the most expensive campaign and it will become much more expensive. Unfortunately, for search to scale up, you need two factors. You need more aggressive and more often, which means your ad spend per day has to go up, but also your CPC has to go up just due to Google's price fixing, unfortunately. You don't really, but Google will make you because it says if you want to overtake a higher position more often, I'm going to charge you for it. Oh, do you want to be there more often during the day to actually have your traffic increase? I'm going to charge you for it. So 100% increase in spend and sometimes a 50% increase in CPC means that you're now paying twice as much for half of the incremental additional traffic. Yeah. So it's not like 100% more spend gets 100% more users. Sometimes 100% more spend can get 10% more users because your CPCs went up 90%. So in my opinion, with a TROAS being an inbound search, my question to you is, do you have to only be within Google? And do you have to only be within Google search? Is this something that you could do lead gen on a prospecting campaign, i.e. demand gen or meta? Is there something else that we can use? Because unfortunately, there is no way around Google's price fixing. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company that gets deposed in front of Congress, and they literally give Congress a middle finger by saying, yeah, we'll spike up CPCs if we need to make earnings. Like they're both face, not even lie. They're both face telling you how they're screwing you. So you do unfortunately have to pay that price. I have not found a way to actually allow myself manual CPC, all that stuff, feeder strategy in order to get that big growth. But because Google says, think that person's going to convert, they just crank up the CPC on that user. You're kind of screwed buying price fixed conversions because Google no longer sells traffic. They sell you leads and they sell you sales, and they just name their own price for those things. Yeah. So if you say, here's what I'm willing to pay, you're going to get what you're going to get. Unfortunately, you're going to have to increase your cost in order to do so. But first thing I would do is take your TROAS of 150, drop it down to 40%. That'd be the first thing. What you're doing is you're telling Google, I know you may have a prejudice against unknown users. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and do it anyway. Which means if you can say, I have enough ad spend to go after who I want, Well, you do have also enough ad spend to go after who you don't want or who you don't think is going to happen. And that may actually be because you were prejudiced against them. So before you just start scaling up the ad spend at a really tight TROAS, which tells Google, bid harder for the people you know, that will not increase your traffic. That just pays more for the conversions they're going to sell you anyway. So drop your TROAS and say, you know what, explore the people you weren't going to and see how that works. If that works, then you can get a little bit more incremental and then scale up. When you scale up spend, yes, CPC will go up, but if you remain first and you're no longer prejudiced to that first position users, conversion rate can go up and those two cancel each other out.
Got it. Makes sense. Interdeep has a follow-up here. As per your experience in lead gen, do you think we should put pricing on the landing page or not? And we're in a premium segment. I'd love to hear your answer on that.
I would run a Google Ads experiment inside the platform to 2 different landing pages and see what the difference is in terms of lead flow. I would also only do, obviously it's lead gen, so you're looking at lead flow. Do this, do no price, and then the other one say starting at. Because if the starting at price scares people off, you have a bigger issue than just traffic at this point right now.
I also found, we just recently did a test, that when you put the money that you're going to save, it turns people off. So I'd be very interested to see how much, how this actually works.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those great questions. Like there's a Confessions of a Pricing Man, by the way, great book about all about pricing. The point is, I know you don't read books, but you know, maybe watch a video or something like that.
That might help.
It's like pricing is one of the most overlooked things. Like, where do I put it? Well, how do I price it? I mean, obviously everyone's got gross profitability, net profitability goals. Hopefully they do. Otherwise, they're probably not going to stay in business too long. But it's like, how do you price and where do you put it on the page? Like, this is a great question by Interdeep. So do it, run a test and get back to us on that one. He's got one more question here. We use CAPI with lead gen on Meta to optimize the bookings, but with conversion, I couldn't get bookings matched back to the campaign it came in. Have you ever done this? If yes, please help me. How?
Yeah, if you're doing CAPI with lead gen on Meta, and I would like to know what CAPI you're using. Because if it's edge tagged CAPI, that shouldn't have an issue. If it's JavaScript deployed CAPI, absolutely, that will not match. Unfortunately, because the fingerprinting breaks. So here's what happens. If it's not edge tagged, every user is individual. So the second click that you tracked and the third click that you tracked may be 2 different people. And so if you're saying like, hey, I'm going to import the first one on the second one and they're not matching, that's because it's not the same user. So I would say that edge tags fingerprints those back together. And that's where you can import and have a much higher match rate. Because if it's not JavaScript, every user is actually kind of individual. And that's when it's like, well, that didn't match what actually happened and it just won't show up.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if it's not edge tagged, I would have a question about that first.
Yeah, make sure.
The Wally fat people. Yeah.
Wally fat people, which is
It's
basically
so
what advertising has become.
So I actually leverage that. I'm going to give everyone a half a second FYI. So the Wally fat people, the reason why, if you weren't there and you heard that and you said that, this is my theory. And this is actually kind of my theory, even for like this year.
There he was.
And I'll share with you exactly right. Like I would love nothing more than if I go the last 7 days, I go to my all products and you click on this one here. I would love nothing more than to drive this to a page to tell you about the story of Paul. And or even, you know, the story about how Cindy had, you know, just horrible back and skin issues. And I would love to tell you about that. The problem is you're not going to click on this ad because you don't care that much enough to take the next 15 minutes out of your day to go read a story. Not really. But can you move your thumb up a little bit and click the see more button? Okay, good. I got you there because this is who I'm, unfortunately, all of us, I'm included. I sit on the couch and I doom scroll. I am the Wally fat people. We all are, unfortunately. And so it used to be.
Make it easy.
You're right. It used to be the email was a currency. Give me your email and I'll give you more information. Now it's, can you please click? That's how lazy everyone got because it's just a feed-based world now.
So true. Oh my God. I mean, it like you think like, oh, that's ridiculous, but it is actually true. And it's a great analogy because we've all become that way.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I
it's
really
a hard pill to swallow.
I mean, you could have done a ellipsis, like a ... and then have your learn more, like, and then your URL. That's what we used to do to get people off Facebook.
Yeah.
That's before we all became incredibly lazy. Like that does not work anymore. You need to put the goods in the newsfeed. You really
exactly
do.
Right.
So good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for reminding us of that concept there, Beardpreneur.
Yeah.
This is a great question here. Have you tested using Andromeda content diversification style ads for YouTube sequence campaigns?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've been trying to make YouTube work really, really every which way, shape, and form you can imagine. YouTube will work if your audience is there. And if your audience isn't there, YouTube looks like it works. And that's the big issue is if the people are not there, it will just attribute view engage conversions because they just happen to be on the feed when they went to YouTube and that counted as an impression. Okay, I'm going to give you all a really, really horrible fact. Demand gen uses what they call the feed. And that is something that is very, very, very well known. It's in your channel. It's in the feed. Now, here's what I did is I just opened up an incognito YouTube window. Okay. If your demand gen is running to an audience and I go to YouTube and I go to the top and I type in funny cats, right here. Okay. Because your ad was right here.
Yeah.
And I just click search. Okay. And now I'm looking at funny cats. If your ad was right there in the feed and I didn't even realize it was there and I just go and look at my funny cat and leave. And then 8:00 tonight, I get an abandoned cart email and I click on it and buy it. YouTube took 100% credit. A view engage conversion from the feed.
Yeah.
How tell me how you grow a campaign when it's like, haha, they made it to YouTube. They made it to YouTube homepage. That is mine. I did all of that. 100% me.
Yeah.
That's what I said is YouTube unfortunately has priced themselves out of actually growing businesses and companies because they've taken such a selfish, vindictively, manipulatively way to get your money. That's my opinion. I've been a Google person for over a decade and I've seen it just decay into absolute, pardon my French, dog shit. Yeah. So when if I could go to Google and say, can you just not do that a little bit? Like maybe let's be more realistic. And if they would listen, I would dump millions into YouTube. But they literally just find any which way, shape, and form to steal from you, the media buyer, from the channels that you're performing. They find a way to steal, and then they double down on it by saying it's platform comparable. See, we showed an ad to somebody somewhere sometime. It must have been us 100% of the time. Meta does that. Yeah. Well, yes, the idiot that just takes full meta attribution for face value. Congratulations, you've now tricked them too. Once that life cycle dies off, what do you do now? Right. And that's like once it's come out in the open about how both platforms are over attributing, they got NORPE, Wiggle reports, Triple Whale, all of these third-party metrics come into play. But that also is now just further confusing the media buyer and the client. So until they get their shit together, I'm not really using YouTube.
But video sequencing, you're still using that. Correct me if I'm wrong. We do have a couple more questions, but anyway, I didn't want to completely discount YouTube. You are using it in some cases.
Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't track any conversion. I think after like $500,000 in spend on YouTube sequencing, I tracked three conversions. Three conversions. Now I measure it top line, but if the problem is if I warm up audiences and then someone else's demand gen goes and steals that customer from me because I made them a conversion-based now user. My non-conversion-based bidding strategies doesn't go after that person harder. I just developed a warm audience for someone else's conversion-based campaign, just start scooping it up. Right. But I can't run MMM like that.
Yeah. No. Doesn't make sense. Great question. Long answer, but great answer.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. 33 Big Money's got a question. I'm working on a new storage space business with 2 locations in central New York City. Wow. Didn't realize Big Money was in New York City.
Nice.
What would you recommend for Google ads and meta ads?
I would honestly start off only with a Performance Max with local enabled. That Performance Max with local enabled, hook up your Google My Business, build a Google My Business profile for both storage spaces, run that there. That will help take care of all of your traffic. Run only a 15-mile radius max, maybe 10-mile radius, because New York City is very, very densely populated and no one's going to travel an hour to go 10 miles in New York City. So maybe like 2-mile radius to start.
I mean, 2 miles.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, really tight. And then I would also run a Andromeda, style one campaign, one asset, no feeder, obviously, because it is, but do a bunch of showcase about every real reason why you have a competitive and advantage, a value, a benefit, and a cost benefit and unique selling proposition than everyone else. Come to my storage place because if there's a dead cat there, it smells like crap and you might get mugged. That's not going to work. Come to my storage space. We have twice the amount of room, twice the amount of ceilings, air conditioning, custom lights, keyless entry, 24-hour service. Security, that's what you do the ads for.
Free boxes.
There you go.
Yeah, seriously, like that's the
Yeah.
thing people need in storage space, like free boxes,
There you
or
go.
like, do some kind of special, like,
Yep.
like 20 boxes for $10 or whatever it happens to be.
And spend 50-50 on both to start until you can do an MMM model where you can push harder on one and identify it.
Good stuff. Good luck on that big money, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interdeep has a follow-up. I think this is our last one we can do today. When I dropped TROAS by 40%, I did try that. CPCs were astronomically high. It didn't make sense, as there was no way we could be profitable at that CPC. That is, I think, a follow-up to this one here.
Yeah. So essentially what that means is that if you dropped your TROAS down to 40% and your CPCs exploded, it means that you pretty much have acquired all available users that campaign will use. Now, if you leave it on for about 2 to 3 months, you're going to see a massive changeover this way. What you have to do is, because you're dropping the TROAS, the immediate targeting of all the users does not get, it doesn't widen. What it does is says, hey, you go harder to the known audiences. It has to market to those people, which I would normally suggest doing your budget per day, not your TROAS. People would like to manage the amount of volume that happens in an account by adjusting TROAS and leaving their budget static. I reverse it. I use a low TROAS because I don't want to be less or more aggressive on my new customer. I always want high amount of aggressiveness, high CPCs. I just will not want to spend that much per day. So I will bring in 10 more high quality for every 50 medium quality by using that model. And then if that starts to work, better conversion rates, maybe a shorter sales cycle, maybe a more profitable customer. And then I will increase my budget, but I will keep my aggressiveness level on those new customers. I want aggressive. I want that top of position. I want that first position. I want that top of page. I want that expensive CPC, because that's where all the magic happens. I'm just not going to start blasting to the moon immediately there. You work your way into their budget.
Makes sense.
I do have to jump now, though. I'm so sorry.
We do have to go, but we are cooking up a lot of chaos in the performance kitchen here. Thank you so much for attending the Ad Lab. We will be back same time, same channel, 2:30 Eastern next Friday. Me and John go cook some blue meth, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go make some more meth. I'm taking it since 3 a.m. Can you tell?
No, not at all. All right. Thanks,
Cool.
everybody. See you next week.
Appreciate it.